10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. This is Wakia. I wanted to talk about some things here before the cataclysmic event of the century. Well, I still can. I was reading an article today, and it was the Moscow Times. And first of all, don't let the Moscow Times fool you, because if you do a little research like I did for the Moscow Times, it's owned by a Finland company, and Finland, I do believe, is their prime minister or somebody is the NATO chief. There's a NATO chief from Finland, so you know what side they're on. How dare them even own a newspaper that says Moscow Times? Like, you're going to get the Moscow's point of view, the Russians' point of view. Massive deception. And this particular article that I was reading said something about Obama called Putin to try to convince him, now get this, to take advantage of the peace plan so that there wouldn't be any violence. Hello? That's an outright lie. It's an outright lie. If it's anything, it's the other way around, okay? This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Putin is the one that wants peace because it's obvious that Obama says he's considering other options, lethal aid to Ukraine, but yet he's calling Putin to try to convince him that we need peace in Ukraine. That is just about the biggest bald-faced lie. I mean, and this is right out in the media, and people can't see this. People can't put two and two together. They can't add 2 and 2 makes 4. Think about what I just said. Because I've said it before, if they're saying one thing, it's diametrically opposed, and it means just the opposite. How do you guys like being snowballed by rags that I wouldn't wipe my butt with? Okay? All of them are doing the same thing. It's interesting today, they're talking about peace, and they got this peace thing going, and they're going back and forth. This is just, it's really absurd, people. If you pay any attention to this stuff, as it being real, yeah, you can pay attention to it just to watch at it and laugh like I do. But for, you know, a major newspaper, and they're all doing this. Yeah, Obama wants peace. He's just begging Putin for, hello? He started the whole friggin' mess, the U.S. did. If they wanted peace, they wouldn't have even... You get what I'm saying here? I mean, why don't people wake up? Why don't people wake up and see it? Is it that hard to see what's going on? It really is a head scratcher. It's like, can't people even read? I doubt if people can even read halfway decent. I doubt if they can even spell. They probably don't even know where Russia is on a world map. They probably don't. So anyway, the other development, the things that the intel, or the drift I'm getting, is that the rebels, the freedom fighters, I like to call them, in southeast Ukraine are making major advances, and they're just devastating the Ukrainian army, which is good. So why should they care about some friggin' peace plan or peace talks? What, are they just going to stop now that they've gained the edge on the Nazis and are moving in and taking? From all accounts, they're doing real well. Now, I don't know if these accounts are valid, but maybe some of you would like to comment or post a video on that from one of the frontline news teams over there that are not from this country. But it's exactly like I said it would be. Why would you stop fighting a tooth and nail battle if you're a freedom fighter and you're finally overcoming the enemy? And let's remember, Russia doesn't have a damn thing to do with these rebels because they're still fighting. So if he had something to do with the rebels, he would have told them to stop and they would have stopped. He doesn't have anything to do with that. They're fighting for their lives in their homeland. So you see how none of this makes sense? What does make sense is that we're in a situation now, like I said before, where anything could go either way, anything could happen right now. I'm assuming that there's some kind of, hey, you know, we didn't do it, the other guys did it, false flag thing. And I've talked about that in my last video. Now, I'm not, when I said imminent, I meant imminent. Imminent could mean like in a week or two, okay? I didn't mean like it's going to happen tomorrow, but it could. It'll be real interesting to see what comes out of this meeting other than chatter, 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 and yap, 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 yap. And, you know, I couldn't believe that that article said that Obama's the one that's wanting peace when they even passed a bill in Congress that said we're going to furnish arms to the... Would you furnish arms to somebody if you wanted peace? And I noticed some other country, God, I forget right off the top, that was selling arms to Ukraine, said we're not going to sell arms to Ukraine anymore, maybe. I just want people to know that there's massive deception, and it's really kind of, I feel, I mean, just feeling the air, I call it feeling the air, feeling the environment, feeling the vibe of the world. I think we're on the verge of something big here. Now, 3 months ago, I said something was going to happen in 6 months. It might happen sooner. Maybe 6 months will be 1 or 2 people walking around on the earth looking at all the devastation and destruction. Who knows? Been having this vision, these visions lately of, and it keeps coming to me over and over again, and most people that know thunder know I get visions and I see things, and I'm seeing this I don't know what you'd call it, maybe I'm tapping into the Akashic records, but I'm seeing this continuation of a long, almost like a flash of a long coastline or a city or something, and there's just like brown haze everywhere, and it's not a clear blue bright day. It's kind of like a, you know, a skyline, almost looks industrial. A wasteland. That's the word I'm looking for. It looks like a wasteland. It looks like, and when I get visions like that, they're not ones I really want to see. To me, that's telling me that something's coming down that's going to pollute the skies, or maybe it could be a metaphor for everything is polluted in the atmosphere on all levels, spiritual. The only thing that comes to my mind is like a vast wasteland. Okay, a vast wasteland. And that's what it'll look like if the shit hits the fan. Okay, it'll be a vast wasteland. And something else that was coming to me on a spiritual level is that we get so locked into this life that we don't realize, we don't see the big picture. We don't see the big picture of our whole lives, and maybe many lifetimes. Okay, Paramahansa quoted that scripture from the Bible. Paramahansa Yogananda, a famous yogi that I studied under, had his own interpretation of the Bible. Okay. And it was quite different than how, some Christian religions might see things. But when I'm talking about this vast continuation of lifetimes or the Akashic record, I'm talking about maybe, he said, Paramahansa said, my Father's house has many mansions, which was a quote from Yeshua, means many lifetimes. Okay. So his belief was, and I'm just saying what his belief was. I'm not saying you have to believe it or anything. I'm just saying his belief is that many, many lifetimes we're all living, our spirit keeps moving from lifetime to lifetime, or maybe dimension to dimension, or whatever. And so we should look at this situation from that perspective of our knowledge that we have from many lifetimes, what has gone before, what will come after. Sometimes I see the whole big picture as what's gone down in the past, what's gone down in the future, what will ever go down, what has ever gone down, what will come to pass. They call this tapping into the Akashic records, which is a record that's on a cosmic level almost of everything that ever was, has been, will be, anything that's ever done. And sometimes like I flash into that, did when I was a kid too. And I'll see things that are coming, or feel things that are coming. It's just, it's a multi-sensory situation with me. So I'm just saying, you can take it or leave it. I'm just saying that I think things are like getting rather thick. The air is getting rather thick. It's one of those times when the air is getting thick, okay? And I call it maybe dangerous times. Maybe dangerous. And who knows what could precipitate that? Some kind of event? Some kind of culmination of events? It seems that way now. It seems like we're at this big culmination of events, and chaotic conditions surround us. Just like that wall of the hurricane surrounding the calm eye. I just feel like I wanted to make this video because, and I've been making several in a row, which I don't usually do, but when intensity builds in the ethers, I figure I might as well get out there and talk as much as I can before some catastrophic event or some event that, let's say, cuts down on communication. You can't hear from me anymore, or from anybody for that matter, because that could be part of a false flag event. Or that's one of the ones I believe is on the table. I believe that a shutdown of communication, because that's just an old CIA covert ops. Anybody that's in a revolution or coup d'etat or anything like that, guess what is the first thing to go? Well, in the old days, they'd go to the radio station. They would go to the radio station and they'd take over the broadcasters, and they'd even arrest people and put them in prison and torture them and say, you can't say this anymore. But see, we're way past the local TV station. We're into like worldwide media broadcasting, or worldwide. The internet is nothing more than a giant broadcasting network, almost. Didn't used to be that way. That's what they're turning it into, because they want to control it. They want to make it like a broadcasting station. They want to put it in that class. There's bills that are going through that are trying to be pushed through right now that'll make the internet like a, you'll have to get an FCC license, and and when you get an FCC license, you have to abide by certain guidelines. And if they don't fit into the government's agenda, you don't get a license. So all of a sudden, this free internet that everybody's watching here is going to turn into a broadcasting station. And it'll be tightly controlled or shut down. That could be one of the big that's what I'm talking about when I say false flags, or I don't believe this freaking happened. I can't believe this freaking happened. I just can't believe it. Nothing's working, man. My iPod's even, I can't get a hold of Aunt Mary. I can't get a hold of my son, And maybe even phones will come under that act of the Electronic Act or whatever it is they're trying to push through. So best be on high alert and expect that kind of thing, because people like Thunder won't be out here anymore, although I've gotten licenses before from the FCC, so but that was a long time ago, and that was before the junta took over. Now the other thing that you want to look out for is something even quicker than them pushing through that bill, which would be, we're under a cyber attack. I understand that they've created a CIA division, or a new CIA, or a new organization specifically for patrolling the internet, patrolling all the sites on the internet, making people like YouTube and Google and everything comply, although they're probably already complying. Now there's several other things that could happen, and this could happen all in one fell swoop. I mean, let's say they orchestrate an event that's just catastrophic. Okay. And they allow only information to get out, just enough information to get out about the catastrophic or the supposed catastrophic event. And everybody goes into this shock and everybody's like trying to find out more about it. But they shut down the rest of the alternative news people and everybody, you know, these people like Greg Hunter and everybody. They shut all that down. And they only allow word to come out about that event to shake everybody up, and then everybody really gets shook up when they try to get a hold of one another and find out, is this real? What's going on here? Our usual channels that we use. And they're not there anymore. You go to listen to Thunder, you go to listen to Greg Hunter, you go to listen to Gregory Manarino, or you go to listen to whoever, and they're not there anymore because that's all been shut down. So you freak. It's like, well, how do I get info on what's going on? How do I get truth? How do I get the truth? You don't. Plain and simple. You won't get the truth. You'll be lucky if you can call your loved ones to check and see if what's going on in their part of the country is what's going on in your part of the country. This is the kind of thing that could happen. Okay. Martial law could be declared. You know, zones could be set up that, you know, you can only go certain places. This could happen like in a flash, people. This could happen. And am I saying that this for sure is going to happen? Well, I'll say this much. I'll say that something of this nature is going to happen at some point. And I don't see a big, long timeline on this thing. Somebody was talking about, yeah, this has been 40 years. This is what makes you think anything's going to change in the next 40 years. Please, do some research. Give me a break. Give me a little bit of respect. Well, I guess if it's 40 years, I won't be concerned about it, will I? No, what may happen is 40 years of devastation from a certain conglomeration of events. That might happen, or longer, or even forever. So, deception, people. Massive deception, massive twisting of the truth, massive movement towards stifling the truth or not allowing communication. I'm just telling you this so that people can be prepared if it happens. Because being prepared or knowing that something is coming is much better than if it just out of the flash, out of the clear blue, it hits you and you're like, there's no place in your consciousness that can process that information because you've never even thought in your wildest dreams that this could happen. But I never thought in my wildest dreams that this could happen, just what's happening right now, without even the stuff I'm talking about. Just what's happening around the world with the massive manipulation. And like I said, it's even legal for the government to, they passed a bill that says that they can use propaganda against the American people. Not that they haven't been doing that anyway, but to come right out and say, now what is propaganda? It's a twisting of the facts. It's a lie. So they pass a bill that says, we can lie to you guys now and it's okay. Think about that one. We can lie to you and it's okay if we lie to you because it's for the better good. Oh man. Oh man. You're saying to yourself, what? How about we can kill you? We can murder you for the better good. Is that coming down the road or is that already here? Well, did you know that they've assassinated U.S. citizens without trial with drones and stuff in other countries? Doesn't matter what tribes they were, what race they were, what doesn't matter. And one was a 16-year-old boy. Okay? But they've killed younger than that, just as collateral damage. So, something to think about, isn't it? Something to think about. Yes, the world's a boiling pot. Somebody said that in a comment. It's been that way for 40 years. Not like it is now. Because I've been around longer than 40 years. Yeah, it's been dicey at times, sure. But continuous, massive mudslinging, lying, passing bills, just like the one I said. That's not the only bill. Come on. There's so many bills out there that rip apart the Fourth Amendment and Second Amendment and First Amendment. There's amendments that they've that they've instituted and amendments that they've ripped up. And there's amendments that haven't even been ratified that they have instituted that are law without even ratification. Ratifying means everybody's got to say, yeah, we'll go along. All the states have to say, yeah, that's a good law. That's a good amendment to the Constitution. In other words, they just took the Constitution and tossed it away. The white man makes a Constitution, and then he rips it up because he doesn't like it. Further on down the line. Of course, the original founding fathers that made that Constitution said, yes, that's going to happen. And it's up to you to make sure it don't. And it's going to happen from special interest groups that subvert what we are writing down here now as a, Bill of Rights or whatever. So just some things to think about. I don't see this situation right now, what's happening right now, coming out anyway in a good way. This Russia demonization and the peace plans, and if it comes out good somehow, great. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If somehow this situation ends up, whether there's war or not war, or whether there's massive upheaval and renewal, okay, just like the natural order of things, does it matter when you look at this long thing I described earlier, this long continuum? Got to rise above it, people. When it comes, just rise above it. Just go with the flow. Depend on that creative higher intelligence that comes down and showers us all with spirit. And don't try to control things. We can't control things. You know where there's control is when you try not to control, you know, when you give up control. That's when there's control. In at least your own space. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. This is Thunder. I'm out of here. Campfire Council. We'd love to have you join our group. Links below on Google and also the regular website. We're a kindred group of people that are trying to band together and talk truth in a sacred manner. Okay? Adios.